All right, we are broadcasting. We're broadcasting live on the YouTubes, on the Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. This is Inside Network from NetWurk.AI. Mickey Black, Jennifer J on the microphone. How's it going? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. Uh-oh. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I am, as it says, Jennifer J.
Awesome, awesome. So we'll be coming to you every Tuesday on a lunch break. This is our sort of like founders room where we connect. We talk about the new things in store for Network AI, all the new feature sets and intentions that we've got for the new platform. This is our first one, so our inaugural journey into the. This would this be called a podcast? Can we call it a
I
podcast?
don't know if we would call it
No,
that.
just a check in. We'll call it the check in.
Check-in. The lunch check-in. The
I
lunch
like
AI
it.
check-in.
The lunch AI check-in. I like it. So yeah, so we'll be talking about the product. So we're launching this October. So we just got our new update on Network AI, the platform. We've got a couple of beta testers in there. I think we've got about 100 users so far, and just probably with 100 users, not too many people know about it, but just to kind of run down what the platform is we've got a social media marketing agency platform that's got an AI driven engine. We actually just this month integrated chat gpt through our custom api into our platform. So we're using chat gpt for a lot of the text. We're using dolly for the image generation, and we've integrated that into our platform. Gives our users a couple of advantages because we're tying in directly through our API. It's less expensive than if you were to go and use ChatGPT on your own. But the real essential thing is that we're trying to solve is not leaving marketers on their own to figure out all of the complicated aspects of prompt engineering and just making sure things are on strategy. What we've been able to do with our clients so far is work with them on creating specific brand instances for their brand. So we create what we call a brand agent that's familiar with your brand and uses the AI to make sure your brand message has continuity, is consistent, and it is in your native voice throughout the content. So yeah, so that's a little bit about what we've got in store. We're still in beta, open to new users, but then gonna do a broad-based launch in October. So I wanted to kind of catch up with Jen and talk about some of the things we got coming up. How's it going, Jen? What do you think about the social media aspect of what we're doing and some of the problems that we're solving? Because you've been in the AI and automation game for a minute, doing some really big things. But I think the technology that is coming about now is just changing things. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think that it is definitely a space that most business owners need to leverage because it does save time if you know what you're doing. I've seen some amazing social media managers create content in minutes and be able to just take that content and upload it and create the assets for it, and then you throw that into a social media scheduler, and now you have your content. Whereas before, you will have to figure out what to say, how am I doing? Is this good enough? What assets do I need to create? And then schedule it. And I know for me, I used to do like Sundays as my day for social media, batch create content. I would do TikTok videos, all these things, and then schedule them out. And so now I think that's reduced from a day to like, I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, and it's one of those things where you have these friction points, like they call them friction points, where you're trying to create your content and you hit this block, you hit this challenge. And for me specifically, that idea generation was a friction point because you say you say your message, but then, okay, after the third, fourth time, you're trying to figure out how do you put this message into new ways, new language. And I think the platform and the AI has been really good at enabling marketers to diversify their marketing. So it's not so one tone. But also, one of the things that's been great is being able to create content more than just a day or a week at a time. Like it used to be super challenging coming up with a month's worth of content, 2 months worth of content. But
Mhm.
now what we're looking at, the aim is to really come up with at least a strategy for a whole year. Because I
Mhm.
know some of the big marketers, they plan their strategy 1 or 2 years in advance at a time. So for a small marketer, it used to be not possible to even think about doing that. But now, between having a strategic campaign that you understand how it moves over the course of the year, but also having the power and technology to be able to generate that content, those videos, those images, those witty comments, changes the game. I think the small guys turning into big guys right before your eyes.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine help me with some messaging that I was working on, and it's really funny story. One of my past assistants used to write my copy for me and do everything. And so when I would go live, she curated a list of things that Jen says. And it's like a list of like 30 things that I said. We took that list, used that link, threw it into Chat GPT and told it to create me. I wanted unique quotes because I'm all about being unique and people know me. So I want things in my voice and not someone else's. And we told it create 50 quotes using the voice from this document, and it did it. Now I got tripped up trying to put them in the Canva, but I have my 50 quotes where I'll be putting those quotes out and you'll see them and they're very unique to me. Now I had to tweak a couple of them, but that tweak took what 2 minutes as opposed to if I had to sit down and write out 50 quotes. I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah, and that piece you mentioned about the brand voice, that authentic voice, is probably one of the most incredible things. Specifically because even historically, like I've worked with big brands where you've got the big copywriting teams, big design teams, and the thing about it is, you know, whenever you get a new strategist, whenever you get a new copywriter, whenever you get a new designer, you have to teach them from the ground up what your brand is about. And it really takes some time. It'll take some time. Usually it'll take a couple of rounds, which might mean a couple of weeks before that writer understands your brand voice. I think with this technology, that completely takes that out as a challenge. Like you've got a comprehensive brand voice that's at the ready no matter what. Like they're never going to quit on you or, find another job or decide to teach kindergarten. It's
Right, right, because you're relying on the platform and the AI and the software. So it does really help people like me who do automation, and we may need something quick, right, to throw into someone's system or to shoot an email out or to shoot a message out. And now we can just throw it in Chat GPT and make sure it's in the brand voice and then put it in there as opposed to waiting on someone to write it. That stalls you out because if they have other things, then yours has to come in the queue. And so it definitely helps performance and productivity for teams if you know how to use it properly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that's super not just important but valuable around network AI and what we're trying to do is adding that human element of having a marketer at your disposal to help you and guide you through the campaign assets. Where I think a lot of times, listen, the technology is intimidating. And so you can have a lot of folks that are new to AI and don't quite understand it and not going to get the tangible results that they should get because whether they're scared or unfamiliar, they're not giving the appropriate inputs. And so you're not going to get the appropriate outputs. But I think what we're trying to solve is providing that additional expertise, that layer of expertise on top of the platform versus just leaving folks out there to just swib and do it on their own for $29 a month. Just figure it out. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and, that's a pet peeve of mine, just leaving people to fend for themselves. So, it's you tell someone how to do something and you tell them what to do, but you don't tell them how to do it. And
Yeah.
so that's really a problem that I'm all about solving all around. So that's exactly what, we're doing here.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
the show, Mickey, we talked about a project you were working on that is very interesting with the video creation using AI. And you want to unpack that a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been something I've been looking at for a while now and trying to string together the different technologies that are out there specifically to create content from scratch using just AI technology. So recently worked with a client on, it was a talking head video. We had some music and it was sort of like almost like a virtual video sales aid or video sales letter, what they might call it. And we created the image using AI of what their standard salesperson or spokesperson would be. Went through the whole alignment process just to make sure it was aligned with their consumer category. But then we used 11 labs to be able to generate the voiceover, and we used some other technology to be able to sync the video salesperson and the content with the voiceover. So you got an actual talking head video. So the project um, really kind of supports our thesis around doing that for us. So we were working on a NetWurk.AI podcast, and the aim is to do a daily podcast talking about just the new advents in tech marketing, AI, and how that adds value because things are changing every day. And so what we're going to be doing is be able to do our own sort of like daily newscast. So we're working on a spokesperson for NetWurk AI and be able to take the latest AI news in the morning, drop it into 11 Labs, create the voiceover script, and then be able to produce daily content from basically nothing. It's incredible because I don't think you could otherwise do that, and I think it democratizes the access to content creation because
Mhm.
before, whether it was you had to hire a writer, hire somebody to speak to the camera, do it a million times until you had it perfect.
That's me.
Because I mean that's reality, right? And so if you can literally take out that part of the process, that time, that effort, those dollars spent on creating the content, I think it opens up new options to marketers that previously couldn't afford an expense like that, whether it be a corporate video sales letter. Those sorts of assets are expensive,
Mhm.
but this democratizes it so it's accessible, but it's also fast. Like otherwise, remember for clients, it would take us 3-4 weeks to produce a corporate sales letter because you spend a week writing the script and aligning on it with a client. You spend another week trying to figure out the production pieces. Then you produce it. Then you spend another week editing and then the final cut. But really, now that everything is in AI and it
Mhm.
cuts down on the errors, it cuts down on the editing. You don't have to, cut out miss flubs and stuff like that. It
Mhm.
changes the game. So, so that's the latest thing that we've got in store just to kind of support the new launch. But it's super exciting in terms of what it can do. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think, for one, it's definitely a game changer, and it gives everyone access to the same methods, right? And so, what I mean by that is I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners who are shifting from referral-based businesses to now adopting marketing, but they may not have a marketing budget to hire someone, a full-blown marketing agency to do marketing for them. With these concepts now, they have the same access that you do, and I do, and everyone else does, to be able to create the same marketing assets for their company and now bring brand awareness, bring traffic back to the automations that I set up for them, right? To be able to now reach people they wouldn't normally reach
Yeah,
on the same budget, with or without a budget, right? So it's just now going to be the fact that they need to learn how to use the softwares appropriately because trust me, in all of my tech knowledge, I fought with Mid Journey for a whole weekend trying to get one image. And I think also it's a mindset thing too, because we have to kind of overcome like it's not going to be exactly the way you want it, but it was giving me some scary stuff, Mickey. I'm just not gonna lie. To the point where, I had another, partner of mine who's in AI and has an AI, community created, and he was like, "This thing is not gonna stump me." We finally got some images out. They're not what I wanted them to be, but that's all about learning how to use and what to say to this software to get the input that you need, and you're pretty good at that from what I see.
yeah. So I studied when it first came out. Actually I did a couple of things. So I read the whole guidebook, like I read all the Midjourney and Stable Diffusion documentation on how they break down, how they process the different prompts and the different things. So I spent like probably like a couple months just reading through because there's the different approaches. But fast forward, because we were talking about this, we were talking about your challenges and what I did this week. I got to share it with you when we connect on Thursday. But I created um, a template in the network AI. So if you just put in a couple of really it can do it based on one word, but maybe two or three if you want a specific look. But then it'll take that and then produce a robust prompt that includes the film style, that includes all the details. Because a lot of times you need to give a lot of detail around the photo shot and what type of lens and what type of camera and what direction style. So we actually created a prompt template for image generation to kind of solve that problem because a lot of people have been having that problem.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the main problem. Once we overcome that, I think we'll be great. Especially just for business owners. There's nothing really out there except for our community, my partner's community, everything that I see that comes across as an ad. Yeah, it may have 150 prompts, but I don't really care about having Chat GPT write me a poem or a rap. I want specific things. So I want it to be customized to helping me generate things that's going to help me in my business. So um I love the work that we are doing. I love the work that my other partner is doing, and it's really going to make the difference with businesses and the map that you created because
Yeah.
your assets are amazing.
Thank you. So, quick question, because I know you've been in the game for a while. You've been in the technology game for a while, and a lot has happened in the last year. So, I got it's almost like a two-part question.
Mhm.
So, first part is, what have you seen in the tech marketplace in this past year that you thought you would never see?
Mhm.
And then the second part is, what have you not seen yet that would just boggle your mind in a technology perspective if it were to come about, say, in the
Oh,
next 6 months?
fair. Okay. So um the first shift that I saw is more and more business owners moving to digital and understanding that they're gonna get suffocated if they don't have a digital presence. So I see more and more of that. That's like the first shift that I see. The second shift that I see is more and more business owners understanding that they can offer SaaS products, right? Because I'm in the SaaS game, and I kinda went kicking and screaming, but now that I'm in because it helps, and it helps you if you're, let's just say you're a coach and you're teaching your community specific strategies, but you don't necessarily have the technology to help them or the means to help them set it up. Well, now with the different SaaS offerings, you can do that based on what you offer, whether you're a course creator, community, or whatever. And so now you're able to also have financial stability because you have this community that can now pay for your SaaS product reoccurring, right? So I saw that shift too. My What do I want and mind-boggling? Those are two different things. Nothing in tech is going to mind-boggle me because if we really, really think, really, really go back to some of the things you say, let's just start with the Jetsons, right? Think about the different things you've seen. Where did they get those concepts from? And so this past weekend I was talking to a friend about AI, and we were talking about this I forgot the name of the show again, but it was a show where it was AI technology that was able to tap into the street lights, tap into turn your computers on, do all of these things. And so someone was talking about a story about chat GBT going rogue or something like that. And I'm like, it's really not anything new that we haven't seen and knew was possible because, you know, if you could program anything, if
Yeah,
you know programming language, you know what I mean? And so I come
yeah,
from that deep background. Remember, I did a cybersecurity test for a whole nother country across the world, where so I know what's possible. So it's not mind-boggling. But what I do want to see and what will be interesting to me is to see how it can replace me. Meaning, you give me a strategy, well, we give it a strategy and we say we want to set this automation up for this and see if it can actually build out the workflow and connect the workflow together and generate the content in there and be able to just replace me. So that's what I want to see. So I'm waiting to see when that's going to start.
yeah. I'm right there with you. It reminds me of what they're calling these these agents, and it sort of takes the Chat GPT to the next level where it can do the thing
Mhm.
and then instruct other technologies to do what it needs. If you were to type in like, build me a website for my new cupcake company, it'll be able to generate the content, generate the HTML,
Mhm.
generate the image, pull the image, put it into the website, all that stuff.
Mhm.
um I don't think that's too far away, probably.
Right, so I wanna see it, and then on the so that what that means now though is on the next end, all of these other software industries are gonna have to level up to meet that, to
Yeah,
be able to do that. So, just being I'm just waiting. I'm a reseller of high level, and they're integrating so many things. So they have the conversation AI bot now, where it'll generate conversations with people, if they DM or Facebook message or text, and it goes back and forth and has a real conversation with the goal you instructed. So if the goal is to book an appointment, it's going to keep trying to get those people on appointments. So I think the innovation goes both ways, and companies have to be ready for it, and they have to be ready to level up and integrate those things into their platforms, because that's where the new rage is going to come from.
Yeah. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. It's getting faster every day.
Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I will wrap us up. It's
Yes.
about been rocking for about 25 minutes, but
Mhm.
awesome. This was great. We will be back next Tuesday. Until
Yeah.
then, stay connected. Cheers.